At least one of the major tech companies, Twitter, has now returned to free speech, and under the new ownership of Elon Musk, international governments are reacting to this, really highlighting how much tyrannical leaders fear free speech. We told you about Brazil banning its people from using Twitter X. Well, this led to a big free speech protest rally last week, as covered by WION. They showed Brazilians taking to the streets to stand up for free speech and call for the Supreme Court justice who banned X to reverse his decision. Former Brazilian President Bolsonaro attended and spoke at that protest. Joining us now to discuss is Brazilian journalist, my friend Allan Dos Santos. Great to have you on. People were just asking in my control room if you went out to the Brazilian protest. You're not allowed to, or you'll get arrested, right? This is the state of speech in your country.
Thank you so much for having me here, Avery. That's true. I cannot go back to my country because of my opinions and the stories I wrote in Brazil. I'm a criminal, according to Alexandre de Moraes' head, not according to Brazilian law. So that's why he ordered my arrest and deportation, but he can't because the United States recognized that as a journalist, I'm not committing any crime. And that's true. I cannot go back to my country only because of my opinion.
So your speech is a crime, just your words, and that is
Just
according
words.
to one apparent dictator who's a Supreme Court justice?
That's true. The same guy who put Elon Musk in the same inquiry that I am at, and both Elon Musk and we cannot access anything about this inquiry, so we are not supposed to know what kind of accusation we are receiving. Even the word accusation is not accurate because it's not the prosecutor who is accusing us, is the judge who claimed for himself to be the judge, the accusation, and the victim at the same time.
So it's interesting to me that your Supreme Court dictator liked Twitter. Twitter was great. Now that Elon Musk is on there saying, okay, I own the place, now it's free speech again. Now the Supreme Court of Brazil has an issue. They don't want their people to communicate freely with each other on Twitter, it sounds like. So what do you think the Supreme Court doesn't want its people to talk to each other about?
The Supreme Court is doing a great job to protect the communist Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who is the president of Brazil now. So he's working as a shield to protect Lula. We have right now the worst economy ever in Brazil. We have a lot of farms being burned to the ground, and today they are confiscating the farms who have been burned. That's news today. And the Supreme Court does not want people criticizing these decisions. I'm not the only one journalist who is in exile. I was the first, but I'm not the only one anymore, sadly. There are a lot of journalists outside of Brazil, some of them in exile, others just decided to leave the country to keep doing their work. Like Luiz Lacombe, who is a very famous journalist in Brazil now, he's working with me on Terça Livre, and we are broadcasting on X. And that was unacceptable for the Supreme Court because they wanted to block even the streaming we are doing in the United States. Let me tell you why he wants to do this. Since Elon Musk has a company called X that operates in Brazil, even he is not the CEO of the company, if we are not allowed to talk in Brazil, he doesn't want us to talk to the world. So because the company is also operating in Brazil, he always do that. He put daily fines on the big techs, Instagram, Meta in general, so Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube, and now X, and even LinkedIn and other platforms. So if we broadcast outside of Brazil and people in Brazil can watch us, so Alexandre de Moraes, he puts daily fines for the company that operates in Brazil. Even the person who's broadcasting is not in Brazil. So he doesn't want our opinion to reach the people because, of course, the result is clear. People will be upset, angry, and they will protest peacefully, as you saw the last Sunday and nothing happens in Brazil with these protests and senators that doesn't want to go on with the impeachment process of Alexandre de Moraes. But if we keep talking, if we keep clarifying things and explaining what's going on to the mass, to the people will understand, and they will kind of force the senators to vote in favor of the Alexandre de Moraes impeachment. That's the reason he doesn't want us freely.
Unbelievable. We can't have him impeached. He's going to do everything he can to stop dissidents, even if that means shutting down free speech. It's sad to see there in Brazil. Hopefully something will change and you guys can keep free speech there, and hopefully you can go back to your home country at some point. The mainstream media, it's interesting, they don't really cover the protests out there, and we don't see free press journalists standing up for free speech in that country. I don't know why. My former colleagues and I, we used to, we were taught that was our one big stand, was free speech as free press journalists. But free press is kind of compromised in America now too. But I'm glad in the meantime that you can at least stay in exile in our country, that we're not as bad as Brazil, at least. Allan Dos Santos, it's great to have you on. Great talking to you again.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And keep doing your job, keep doing your work. One American News Network is doing a great job. And remember, what's happening in Brazil can happen in the United States too. All these journalists that are not covering what happened in Brazil, they are covering what's happening against Israel, protecting Hamas and Hezbollah, these two terrorist groups that praise Lula da Silva as a president, as Joe Biden and all the Democrats in the United States. So we need to keep our eyes open because they cannot pack the Supreme Court. Otherwise, this problem could reach the United States too. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Allan Dos Santos.